In the book, The Bitcoin Standard, author Saifedean Ammous encapsulates Bitcoin perfectly. He said, Bitcoin can be best understood as distributed software that allows for transfer of value using a currency protected from unexpected inflation without relying on trusted third parties. In other words, Bitcoin automates the functions of a modern central bank and makes them predictable and virtually immutable by programming them into code decentralized among thousands of network members, none of whom can alter the code without the consent of the rest. But hold up, what the hell does all that mean? Let's break it down. Welcome to part 2 of my explanation of what Bitcoin is. If you missed the first part, be sure to check out this link right here. Now, before we dive back in, please do me a huge favor and smash that like button. As a big thank you, I'm gonna give to you an amazing gift. Here's a cat drunk on Bitcoin.
Good one.
First, you must understand that there's Bitcoin, the network, and Bitcoin, the asset. Bitcoin is a form of digital cash. It runs on an open network with no central authority. It is available to anyone, anywhere in the world with an internet connection. If you are using Bitcoin, the network, then you're transacting with Bitcoin, the currency. Before the invention of Bitcoin, it was impossible to send money digitally in a peer-to-peer fashion because everything being transferred on the internet was a copy of the original. Whether you were sending an email or downloading songs from LimeWire for all you millennials, it was a copy of the original. But if you were to send me $1 digitally, it can't be a copy of that same dollar. This is the threat of the double spend problem. Therefore, in the past, in order to send money digitally meant going through a trusted third party, like a bank or a payment processor, like PayPal. These financial authorities kept a central ledger, which allowed for efficiency and security, but most importantly, trust. The problem was always that this model gave too much power and excessive profits to these central record keepers. The challenge then became finding a solution to create a decentralized and trustworthy system to keep our monetary records without losing the efficiencies and security that centralization had delivered. Satoshi Nakamoto solved it by creating an immutable ledger called the blockchain, and every single transaction that took place since the network launch are available for all to see. There's a saying in the crypto community that encapsulates the blockchain spirit perfectly, and that's don't trust, verify. So please, don't take my word for it. Go to the Google and verify everything I've said. This should be the attitude to have for yourself, always verifying the validity of statements coming your way. But you might ask, how do you reach consensus and prove a transaction to be legitimate if there's no central authority? This is where the technology is so groundbreaking. Let's say I send Nas 1 Bitcoin, because, well, why wouldn't I? I might get canceled for this, but he's arguably the best rapper of all time. His album, Illmatic, I mean, come on, fire. Plus, he's a self-proclaimed cryptocurrency Scarface.
But I digress. Where were we?
When I send him that Bitcoin, that transaction is broadcasted to the entire Bitcoin network, and all the computers will check to make sure the transaction is legit. Because everybody checks everything, no one can cheat.
I see this as an absolute win.
New coins come into circulation through a process called mining. It is a miner's job to legitimize transactions that take place on the network. Much like you have to invest into and run an operation to get gold out of the ground, as a Bitcoin miner, you need to invest into computational resources to prove that you've done the work in order to facilitate the transactions. This is why the Bitcoin consensus algorithm is called proof of work. This is where the stock to flow for Bitcoin comes into play. Miners are rewarded with new Bitcoin every 10 minutes. When Bitcoin first started, there were 50 Bitcoin rewarded to these miners. Now, every 4 years, that reward is cut by half. And every 4 years after that, it's cut by half again. All the way up until the year 2140, when that reward drops to 0. And at that point, there will only ever be 21 million coins in circulation and never more. This is why Bitcoin is a fixed supply asset. And as demand and adoption grows, you see that exponentiality in the price. Bitcoin is the only money in the world where you can say with absolute certainty the precise number of coins in circulation as well as newly minted coins coming into the network. The Bitcoin network kind of sounds like the Rice Stone ancient monetary system, doesn't it? But without any of the supply issues. No other asset class acts in this way. It's also the most portable money ever created. You can send $1 billion anywhere in the world and pay a negligible fee.
Billions and billions and billions and billions and...
As a matter of fact, someone did send $2 billion in Bitcoin and only paid a fee of 78 cents. This is simply not possible with any other monetary system. Even though we can see that this transaction did indeed take place, we don't know the identities of those who hold the wallet, nor the purpose of the transactions. These digital fingerprints are displayed as a series of numbers and letters readable only by computers and not to the human eyes. Every single Bitcoin on-chain data, including transaction timestamps and individual wallet details, are available for you to see on the Bitcoin Explorer, like the one they have on blockchain.com. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at that $2 billion transaction I mentioned earlier. On September 14th, this hash was recorded on the network. You can think of the hash as a transaction identifier, amongst other things. So here we can see that this wallet sent this amount to that wallet address there. And the fee is shown here. This is why Bitcoin is the best money ever created. All the transactions are transparent, it cannot be manipulated, and its supply cannot be inflated away because the system is governed by code with no central authority. Because there's no central authority, therefore no single point of failure, Bitcoin is freedom money, meaning that it's resistant to censorship. No governments or banks can ban you from using it because it's literally a software. Can you ban the internet? I don't think so. Sure, they might be able to slow down adoption, but the cat's out of the bag, and Bitcoin is currently valued at over $1 trillion in market cap. Just so you know, 60% of Bitcoin have not been moved for more than a year. What happens to a fixed supply asset when the demand keeps skyrocketing, but holders of it aren't selling? The price has to move upwards to accommodate everyone. These are very exciting times to own Bitcoin.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Big shout out to Bitcoin Magazine and their explanation of what Bitcoin is, as well as the books Bitcoin Standard and the Age of Cryptocurrencies. Much of my analysis came from those sources, so I highly encourage you guys to check it out. Guys, please leave a comment below what kind of content you guys would love to see. I'm all ears and here for the community. And don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you know when I release my next video. Guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next journey.